The ghost of my Nobel Prize acceptance speech, the weight of the gold medal, the hushed reverence of the Stockholm concert hall. It all clings to me, a shimmering, impossible dream. Then, the other taste, the one that's more real than the lingering phantom of champagne. Metallic, acrid, the taste of carbon monoxide coating my tongue. The final choking gasp in a dingy college apartment where all my dreams had gone to die. Downstairs, the low rumble of the coffee machine starts, a sound that should be comforting. Instead, it's a trigger. A visceral lurch yanks me back, further back. I'm 16, again. My hands, resting on the worn chenille bedspread, are smooth, unlined, the nails bitten short. A nervous habit I'd conquered by 18 in my other life. But the mind. Oh, the mind is old, scarred, and incandescent with a rage so cold it burns. The smell of brewing coffee, cheap and slightly burnt, fills the small house. Dad's morning ritual. It's a peculiar kind underscore of torture, this seamless overlay of past and present. I swing my legs out of bed, the floorboards cool beneath my bare feet. My reflection in the dusty dresser mirror is a cruel joke. A girl with wide, haunted eyes, a face too soft for the cynicism etched into her soul. Maya Chen, 16, a blank slate they'd already written tragedy all over once. Not this time. At breakfast, the scene unfolds with the sickening precision of a recurring nightmare. Mom hums, flipping pancakes oblivious. Emma, my older sister, scrolls through her phone, already curating her perfect online persona, a life as fabricated as her affection for me. And Dad. Dad stands by the front window, feigning casualness, waiting for the mailman. My stomach clenches. I know what's coming. I lived this exact betrayal once before. The squeak of the mail slot. Dad's cheerful, "Got it?" He shuffles the envelopes, a practiced, almost theatrical display of nonchalance. Then, the sleight of hand. The crisp, cream-colored envelope from Harvard, the one with the crimson crest I'd fantasized about for years, disappears behind his back, tucked into the waistband of his jeans. He turns, beaming, that false, benevolent smile plastered on his face. "Morning, pumpkin. Pancakes smell good." "Morning, Dad." I manage, my voice a credit to the actress I've become in the span of waking up. "Anything interesting?" Mom asks, sliding a stack of pancakes onto my plate. He pats his pockets, a pantomime of searching. "Nah, just bills, bills, bills. Oh, and a letter for your grandmother. Looks like her specialist appointment reminder." He makes a show of placing a flimsy white envelope on the counter. The Harvard letter remains snug against his spine. "Maya, honey," he begins, his tone shifting to that familiar, cloying concern. "Your mother and I were talking. With Grandma Anya needing so much help lately and finances being a bit tight." He sighs, a performer hitting his mark. "We just think it's best if you focus on family for a while. Maybe defer any big college plans. Local community college is a great option. Save some money, stay close to home where you're needed." "Family comes first, Maya," Emma chimes in, not even looking up from her phone, her voice dripping with saccharine agreement. Last time I'd believed her. Last time I'd seen her as my supportive older sister. This time I see the flicker of collusion in her eyes as she meets Dad's gaze for a nanosecond. This time I see the calculating gleam in Dad's eyes, the subtle tightening around his mouth that betrays the satisfaction beneath the concerned veneer. He thinks he's so clever. He thinks I'm the same naive, eager-to-please girl. "Oh," I say, my voice small. I pick at a pancake. "Okay, Dad, if you think that's best." I even manage a watery, uncertain smile. Inside, the ice is spreading, numbing the initial shock, hardening into something sharp and dangerous. He pats my shoulder. "That's my girl, sensible. Grandma will be so relieved to have you around more." He exchanges another look with Emma, a look of triumph. I excuse myself, feigning a sudden upset stomach from the news. As I climb the stairs to my cramped attic bedroom, the memories from my first truncated life cascade through me. His sabotage hadn't ended with that first Harvard letter. It was a pattern, a systematic dismantling of every opportunity. The scholarships he forgot to mail. The summer research programs he deemed too far or too expensive, even when they were fully funded. The constant refrain of family duty, a guilt trip expertly wielded to keep me tethered, small, and useful. It worked. I'd ended up at that local community college, then a string of dead-end jobs to help the family. Receptionist, barista, retail drone. Each one a nail in the coffin of my ambitions. I cared for Grandma Anya, who, despite Dad's narrative, never demanded my sacrifice and often urged me to leave. Then, when she passed, it was Uncle David's turn for my support, then a distant cousin. My brilliance, the theories that had once danced in my head like stars, faded into a dull ache of what if. Depression became a suffocating blanket, isolation my only companion. And then, at 24, in that lonely apartment, the faulty heater, the sweet, insidious creep of carbon monoxide. An accidental death, the papers said. I knew better. It was murder by 1,000 paper cuts. A death orchestrated by the man who called himself my father. My potential, my Nobel-worthy research on sustainable quantum energy, unpursued, unfulfilled, lost to the world because he couldn't bear for his daughter to outshine him. But I'm back, and the game is different now because I know the players and I know the rules they play by. In my room, the small, cluttered space that had been my prison, I don't cry. The grief is an old, cold stone in my chest, but the fury is new, a sharpened blade. I pull out a worn spiral notebook from under my mattress. It's filled with equations, calculations, theories I've been painstakingly recreating from memory since that first disorienting jolt of rebirth 3 weeks ago. My teenage hands, still clumsy with the unfamiliar penmanship of my younger self, tremble, but not with sorrow. It's the tremor of a drawn bowstring. I grab my cheap burner phone, a relic from this timeline that I'd insisted on for privacy. With fingers that feel strangely disconnected from my adult mind, I type a text message. My recipient, Dr. Alistair Finch, my former mentor, a man who, in this timeline, doesn't know me from Adam. A man who, in my past life, had been the only one to truly see my potential before it was snuffed out. Dr. Finch, your 2038 paper on asymmetrical temporal mechanics. The Cherenkov radiation anomaly you noted, consider the Feynman-Wheeler absorber theory, but applied to a closed time-like curve within a micro-wormhole. The paradox resolves if particle-antiparticle pair creation is non-localized. Need to discuss, urgent. M. Knowledge only adult Maya, his future protege, could possess. Knowledge that would, to a physicist of his caliber, be like a coded signal from another dimension. I press send. My breath catches. This is the first shot. I stare at my reflection. The girl in the mirror is still pale, still too young. But her eyes are ancient. Downstairs, I hear Dad's voice, artificially loud, calling up, Maya, you feeling better, sweetie? Want me to bring you some ginger ale? His voice is thick with false concern, the same concern I'd heard a lifetime ago. But this morning, as he'd turned from the mail, before he'd composed his face into a mask of paternal worry, I'd glimpsed it, a tiny, almost imperceptible smirk of satisfaction. He thought he'd won, again. I whispered to the reflection a promise to the ghost of the woman I was, to the girl I am now. This time, I don't just survive. This time, I make him watch me claim everything he tried to steal. And I'll do it while he's barbecuing in the backyard, oblivious to the fact that his world is about to burn. The game begins, and I am no longer playing his version. For the next few weeks, I am the model of the dutiful, slightly disappointed, but ultimately compliant daughter. I help Mom with the groceries, even volunteer to sort through Grandma Anya's old photo albums, a task I know Dad wants done but Emma always complains about. I listen patiently to Dad's endless monologues about the importance of practical skills and the unrealistic expectations of fancy universities. I nod. I fetch him his beer. I offer to mow the lawn. Every action is a carefully constructed piece of my new facade. Behind the scenes, I am a scientist observing a particularly odious specimen. I document. My mind is a steel trap, cataloging every manipulative tactic. The way he intercepts the mail becomes a daily ritual I accidentally witness. Oh, just more junk, Maya, he'll say, pocketing an envelope from Caltech, another from MIT. He doesn't know I've already seen the logos through the thin paper, held up to the light when he's in the shower. The phone calls are trickier. He takes them in his study, door closed. But I'm 16, and 16-year-olds are good at loitering near closed doors. I hear snippets. Yes, this is Mr. Chen, Maya's father. She's decided to stay local. Family commitments, you understand. No need to speak with her. She's quite overwhelmed. That was the call from the Sterling Scholarship Foundation, the one that would have paid my full ride anywhere. He's actively, systematically poisoning my future, brick by brick. He even starts feeding Mom a narrative about my struggling grades. She's just not cut out for that high-pressure academic stuff, Sarah. I overhear him telling her one evening, his voice oozing fake sympathy. Her last math test, barely a C. It's better this way, keeping her close, less stress. Mom, who trusts him implicitly, just sighs and says, "Maybe you're right, John. Poor thing. She tries so hard." I got an A+ on that math test. He'd intercepted the report card, of course. My adult knowledge of technology is a superpower in this teenage world. I resurrect an old, forgotten laptop from the basement, wiping it clean and installing layers of security. I discover Dad's been sloppy. He uses the family computer for his dirty work, too arrogant to think his 16-year-old daughter would ever check. I find the drafts of rejection letters, supposedly from me, to various universities. "Dear Admissions Committee," one reads, "after careful consideration, I have decided to withdraw my application. My family requires my support at this time." My forged signature at the bottom is a passable imitation, but the hesitation in the loops, the slightly off slant, it screams forgery to my practiced eye. I photograph everything with my burner phone, meticulously uploading the images to an encrypted cloud drive. The evidence file grows daily. Each click of the virtual shutter is a small, cold satisfaction. The revelation about Emma is a slow, dawning horror that solidifies into icy certainty. I'd always known she was selfish, caught up in her own superficial world. But active malice? That's new. Or perhaps I was just too blind to see it the first time. I start observing her more closely. Her little asides to Dad, her subtle digs at my unrealistic dreams during dinner. I decide to test her. One evening, when Mom is out and Dad is watching TV, I approach Emma in the kitchen. "Hey, Em," I say, trying to sound casual, like the old, naive Maya. "I was looking online. There's this amazing summer program for young physicists at Stanford. It's a long shot, but imagine if I got in." Emma barely looks up from painting her nails a violent shade of pink. "Stanford? Maya, be serious. Dad would never go for that. Besides, aren't you supposed to be helping with Grandma?" I know, I say, injecting a note of wistful hope. "But it's fully funded. It wouldn't cost anything. Maybe if I just applied?" She shrugs, a perfect picture of disinterest. "Whatever, don't come crying to me when Dad says no." Later that night, I'm studying in my room, door slightly ajar. I hear Emma's voice from downstairs, hushed but carrying. "Stanford, Dad. She's looking at some physics thing. Yeah, I told her it was a stupid idea. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on her. Maybe you should talk to her guidance counselor again. Make sure they're not encouraging this nonsense." The casual cruelty of it steals my breath for a moment. She's not just a bystander. She's an active participant. A willing cog in his machine of suppression. The college fund Dad had always dangled in front of us. Suddenly, I understand. If I'm out of the picture, it all goes to Emma. Simple, ugly greed. My first counter move is silent, invisible. Dr. Finch had replied to my cryptic text within hours. "Intriguing hypothesis, Em. Who is this? How do you know my 2038 work? Need verification." I'd replied with another piece of information only his future protege would know. The name of the dilapidated observatory where we'd first met in my previous life, a place he'd once told me was his secret thinking spot. His next message was just 2 words, "Call me." Now, armed with a new, untraceable email account and using a public library computer, I craft applications for 3 highly specialized research mentorships. Not the big universities Dad is watching, but niche programs run by independent research institutes. Programs that value raw, unconventional talent. My applications are a tightrope walk, showcasing theoretical insights that are decades beyond a typical 16-year-old, yet phrased with just enough humility to be plausible from an unknown prodigy. I use my friend Sarah's address for correspondence. Sarah, bless her oblivious loyal heart, thinks I'm entering some obscure poetry contest. The real resources start to build. My online tutoring sessions, conducted in the dead of night when the family sleeps, are with advanced undergraduate and graduate students, mostly from overseas, found through specialized academic forums. I charge a premium. My Nobel level understanding of quantum mechanics, even filtered through a 16-year-old's explanation, is revolutionary to them. You explain it like you've seen it, one awestruck PhD student from Germany had stammered after I'd untangled a complex string theory problem for him. The money flows into a newly opened online bank account, one Dad can't touch, linked to a debit card I have delivered to Sarah's house. The connections I'm making are more valuable than the cash. Respected researchers, initially skeptical, then astonished by the depth of my anonymous email exchanges on complex theoretical problems. They don't know I'm a teenager. They just know the mind they're interacting with is extraordinary. During dinner conversations, I play the part of the struggling student with gusto. Dad, that algebra homework was so hard, I'll whine, pushing green beans around my plate. I just don't think my brain works like that. He'll beam. Don't worry about it, pumpkin. Not everyone is meant for numbers. You've got other talents. You're a great help around the house. Emma will snort. Yeah, Maya, stick to whatever it is you do that's not smart. I just smile meekly. Let them think I'm failing. Let them think they're winning. The quieter I am, the harder they'll fall. The groundwork is laid. The first real strike is coming. The wrongness of it all escalates with a kind of sickening momentum. I'd half expected Dad to simply hide the Harvard acceptance. What I discover is far more insidious. Using a keylogger I'd subtly installed on the family computer, a piece of software my adult self knew well. I watch in horrified fascination as he logs into my carefully created and supposedly secret email account. How did he even get the password? Emma. It had to be Emma. She must have seen me type it once. I watch his cursor navigate to the Harvard admissions portal. He has my login details, probably fished from my email. And then, with a few chilling clicks, he declines my admission. He even types out a polite, regretful message, forging my name, stating I've had a change of heart and wish to pursue urgent family obligations. The sheer audacity. But it's the scholarship money that truly ignites the cold fire in my belly. The Harvard acceptance came with a $50,000 merit scholarship, a prestigious award I'd won based on my previous life's research proposal, which I'd replicated for this timeline's application. The check, made out to me, had arrived. I see it in the scanned documents on his desktop. The check, and then a deposit slip into his own personal savings account. He hadn't just denied my dream, he'd stolen the physical reward for my brilliance. He was funding his comfortable, mediocre life with the fruits of my genius. It's time to confront him, not for the truth, but for the performance. I wait until a Saturday morning when Mom is at her book club and Emma is, predictably, at the mall. Dad, I say, walking into the living room where he's reading the paper. I clutch a crumpled fake math test with a bright red C scrawled on it, a prop I'd doctored myself. Can we talk about college stuff again? He puts down the paper, his face arranging itself into lines of paternal concern. What's on your mind, pumpkin? It's just, I know you said local is best, and I get it, with grandma and money and everything. I sniffle, trying to summon tears, but I keep getting these emails, these letters, from places like Harvard. They say I was accepted. Is it some kind of mistake? I look at him with wide, innocent eyes, the picture of bewildered hope. He sighs, a long, suffering sound. Oh, Maya, those places, they send things out to everyone. It doesn't mean anything. And sweetheart, he gestures to the fake test in my hand. We have to be realistic. Your strengths lie elsewhere. This academic pressure, it's not good for you. Family needs you. Your grandmother needs you. It's selfish to chase these impossible dreams when your duty is here. Emma, who chose that exact moment to return, laden with shopping bags, nods sagely. He's right, Maya. You're just not Harvard material. It's okay. Some people are meant for simpler things. The condescension in her voice is a razor blade. This is my cue. I let out a sob, a wrenching, heartbroken sound that would have done my past self proud. You're right. I choke out, tears, onion juice dabbed on my lashes moments before, streaming down my face. I'm sorry, I'm so selfish. It's just hard to let go of silly dreams. I crumple the fake test. I'll focus on family, I promise. No more silly science projects. I'll try to be more useful. Dad beams, his relief palpable. Emma smirks, victorious. That's the spirit, Maya, Dad says, patting my head. Now why don't you go help your mother with lunch prep when she gets back? She'd appreciate that. I nod, wipe my eyes, and escape to my room. The stage cleared for my real work. My theoretical paper, Non-Euclidean Harmonics in Quantum Entanglement, a Unified Field Framework, is submitted under the pen name Dr. Evelyn Reed to the Journal of Theoretical Physics International. Evelyn, my grandmother's middle name. Reed for the resilience I now embody. The paper is dense, groundbreaking, the kind of work that shifts paradigms. I include just enough obscure biographical data in the author's note, a childhood fascination with a particular constellation only visible from my hometown, a mention of a specific local science fair I'd won in my youth. Details that, with enough digging, would point back to Maya Chen. It's a breadcrumb trail for the hounds I'm about to unleash. The Sterling Scholarship Foundation is my next target. My past life knowledge of their rigorous, often surprising audit process is invaluable. They pride themselves on ensuring their funds go to genuinely deserving students, not their opportunistic parents. From a public library computer, using a new burner email, I craft an anonymous tip. To the Sterling Foundation Ethics Committee, concern regarding recent disbursement for Maya Chen, Harvard Merit Award. Suspect fraudulent parental interception of funds and forged documentation declining award. Suggest immediate audit of John Chen's financials and comparison of Maya Chen's signature on file with declination letter. Evidence may exist of systematic educational suppression. I attached digitized copies of the scholarship award letter, which I'd found in Dad's desk and photographed. The deposit slip into his account, also photographed, and a sample of my actual signature from an old-school permission slip. It's enough to light a fire. I know their protocols. An investigation will be swift and unannounced. The neighborhood barbecue is Dad's favorite summer tradition. He loves holding court, beer in hand, dispensing unsolicited advice and bragging about his, usually fictional, successes. This year, Emma is his prize exhibit. Emma's off to State University in the fall, top of her class, he announces to Mr. Henderson from next door, chest puffed out. And Maya, well, Maya's decided to take a sensible path. Focus on family, maybe some local courses. A real homebody, that one. Knows what's important. He winks, as if sharing a profound secret of good parenting. I'm passing around a bowl of potato salad, playing the part of the dutiful, slightly dim daughter. I smile vacantly, my ears tuned to the approaching sirens. They're faint at first, then louder, closer. A flicker of surprise on some faces. Then 2 sleek black cars pull up to the curb, followed by a marked police cruiser. Investigators, sharp suits and sharper eyes, step out. 2 uniformed officers follow. They walk directly up our driveway, their expressions unreadable. Mr. Henderson's jaw drops mid-burger. John Chen? One of the investigators says, his voice calm but firm. Dad, a half-eaten hot dog in his hand, looks bewildered. Yes, can I help you? We're from the Sterling Foundation, Mr. Chen, and these officers are here regarding a complaint of fraud and forgery. The color drains from Dad's face. Emma freezes, her eyes wide with panic. Mom, who had been laughing with Mrs. Henderson, stares in confusion. The investigator doesn't miss a beat. We have reason to believe you fraudulently intercepted and misappropriated scholarship funds awarded to your daughter, Maya Chen, and forged her signature to decline her university admission. A collective gasp ripples through the backyard. All eyes are on Dad, then on me. I arrange my face into a mask of utter shock and confusion, looking from the investigators to my father, my mouth slightly agape. Perfect. This is a misunderstanding, Dad stammers, his voice hoarse. We have bank records, Mr. Chen, and handwriting analysis. The investigator nods to one of the officers. If you'll come with us, please. We have some questions for you downtown. The click of the handcuffs is shockingly loud in the sudden suffocating silence of this barbecue. Neighbors stare, food forgotten. The sizzling of burgers on the grill seems to mock the frozen tableau. As they lead Dad away, his face ashen, his eyes dart to me, pleading, desperate. I just look back, my expression one of bewildered innocence, a single perfect tear tracing a path down my cheek. Inside, though, I'm not crying. I'm savoring the taste. It's not sweet, not exactly. It's cold, sharp, and utterly, undeniably just. The first loop of retribution is complete, and it's only the beginning. With Dad arrested and facing serious charges, a new kind of chaos descends. Emma, predictably, unravels. The foundation of her world. Dad's approval, Dad's money, Dad's manipulations ensuring her path was clear is crumbling. She sees me not as a sister, but as the architect of her downfall. One afternoon, I come home from a study session at Sarah's, actually a 3-hour encrypted video conference with a quantum physics think tank in Switzerland, to find Emma in my room, her face pale and furious. My research notebooks, the ones filled with my real painstakingly reconstructed equations from my past life's work, are clutched in her hand. Or so she thinks. "You did this," she hisses, her voice trembling. "You ruined everything." "Emma, what are you talking about?" I feign confusion, my eyes fixed on the notebooks. "Don't play dumb with me, Maya. Dad's in jail because of you. Our family is a laughingstock." She shakes the notebooks. These stupid scribbles of yours, this is what you care about, isn't it? More than your own family." "Those are my projects," I say, my voice small. "I swear, Maya." Her eyes narrow, a desperate, wild look in them. "If you don't go down to that police station right now and tell them it was all a mistake, that Dad didn't do anything wrong, I'll burn these. Every single page," she adds, her voice dropping to a venomous whisper. "He promised me your college fund, you know. If I helped make sure you stayed put, all of it was going to be mine." The confession hangs in the air, ugly and pathetic. So it wasn't just about being the favored daughter. It was about cold, hard cash. I let a flicker of panic cross my face. "Emma, no, please, that's years of work." She smiles, a thin, triumphant curl of her lips. "Then you know what you have to do." What she doesn't know is that those particular notebooks are a carefully constructed decoy, filled with complex but ultimately dead-end equations. My real work, the revolutionary stuff, is triple encrypted and stored on multiple offshore servers accessible only by me. I'd anticipated a move like this. "Okay, Emma," I say, my voice laced with defeat. "Okay, I'll think about it." She scoffs. "You'd better do more than think." The very next morning, as Emma is presumably gloating over her leverage, the academic world explodes. The Journal of Theoretical Physics International publishes Dr. Evelyn Reed's paper. Almost immediately, Dr. Alistair Finch, my future past mentor and a Nobel laureate himself, posts a link to it on his widely followed academic blog. His headline, "A Revolutionary Voice? Has a New Einstein Emerged?" He praises the paper's breathtaking originality and its potential to rewrite our understanding of fundamental universal constants. Academic forums buzz, science journalists scramble. Who is Dr. Evelyn Reed? The biographical breadcrumbs I'd left are quickly followed. Within 48 hours, the trail leads them astonishingly to me, Maya Chen, a 16-year-old high school student from a nondescript suburban town. The media frenzy is instantaneous. "Teenage genius unlocks quantum secrets," one headline screams. "High schooler's paper stuns physics world," blares another. Suddenly, my quiet street is choked with news vans. My face, the face of the quiet homebody daughter, is plastered across international news sites. Representatives from MIT, Caltech, Stanford, even Cambridge and Oxford are calling, emailing, practically camping on Sarah's doorstep. My official correspondence address. The bidding war for Maya Chen has begun. The news coverage, inescapable and overwhelming, finally pierces Mom's bubble of denial. For weeks, she'd clung to the belief that Dad's arrest was a terrible mistake, that I was somehow confused or being manipulated. But seeing the undeniable proof of my academic prowess, the global recognition, juxtaposed with the investigators from Child Protective Services now calmly explaining the full extent of Dad's fraud and Emma's complicity, The hidden scholarship money, the forged signatures, the pattern of educational neglect. Something in her finally breaks. The confrontation between my parents when mom visits dad during a supervised pretrial meeting is apparently volcanic. I hear about it later from a sympathetic social worker. Mom, armed with printouts of my published paper and the news articles, had reportedly screamed at him for 20 minutes straight. A torrent of accusations and disbelief. You told me she was struggling. You told me she wasn't smart enough. You destroyed her future, John. Our daughter is a genius, and you tried to crush her. Emma, caught in the crossfire, apparently tries to defend dad, then crumbles when mom turns on her, revealing Emma's own role in the sabotage, her greedy eyes on my college fund. The alliances have shattered. Mom, for the first time, is seeing her husband and her favored daughter for who they truly are. The legal and social consequences snowball. Child Protective Services officially opens a case of educational neglect and psychological abuse against both dad and mom, though mom's cooperation and visible remorse are noted. Dad's criminal charges are amplified by the sheer scale of his deception, now a matter of public record. Multiple scholarship foundations, alerted by the Sterling Foundation, launched their own investigations and threatened civil suits to reclaim funds they now suspect were similarly misappropriated or offers fraudulently declined for other students in the past. For Emma, the fallout is devastating. Her acceptance at State University is rescinded, citing concerns regarding academic integrity and familial associations with fraudulent activities. Other colleges she'd applied to send similar letters. Her carefully curated future, built on lies and the suppression of my talent, evaporates before her eyes. She's flagged, a pariah in the academic world she so desperately wanted to conquer. I watch it all unfold with a strange sense of detachment. This isn't just about revenge anymore. This is about the natural, unavoidable consequences of their actions. A chain reaction I merely initiated. The world is simply righting itself, correcting the anomaly of my stolen first life. And as the dust begins to settle, I prepare for my next reveal. They think they understand the game now. They have no idea. The biggest twist isn't my academic prowess, it's the truth of my first death and the network I've silently cultivated in this second chance. When a compassionate, court-appointed therapist asks me about the trauma of my family's betrayal, I decide it's time. It's more than just this lifetime, Dr. Ramirez, I say, my voice quiet but firm. In my previous life, their actions didn't just suppress my education. Their emotional abuse, the systematic isolation, it led to my suicide at 24. I was on the verge of the breakthroughs I'm making now, but they broke me first. Dr. Ramirez listens, her expression unreadable at first, then slowly shifting to dawning understanding as I recount, not in mystical terms, but as a psychological case study of cause and effect, how the relentless pressure and devaluation led to a state of hopelessness. This rebirth, I tell her, isn't just about reclaiming my work. It's about ensuring that what happened to me doesn't happen to other gifted young people. I then reveal the extent of my connections. Dr. Finch isn't just an admirer. He was my mentor, my closest confidant in that other life. Our reunion in this timeline was swift, emotional, and intensely focused. He, in turn, connected me with a discreet international network of academics, philanthropists, and lawyers dedicated to identifying and protecting exceptionally gifted minors from suppressive or exploitative environments. They've been my silent partners, my advisors, my safety net. My financial independence is another shock I unveil, first to Dr. Ramirez, then, when necessary, to the bewildered social workers. While my father was stealing my $50,000 scholarship, I explain, producing meticulously organized bank statements from my encrypted drive, my online tutoring and research consultations with international universities and private think tanks have earned me just over $237,000 in the past 18 months. I show them the trust fund, legally established with the help of lawyers from Dr. Finch's network, shielding my earnings from any familial claim. I've been playing the role of the dependent teenager, eating their food, living under their roof, all while being financially self-sufficient. The look on their faces is priceless. Then comes the academic bombshell. Harvard was always the dream my father tried to kill. I tell the assembled team of social workers and my new legal advocate, a formidable woman named Miss Albright, provided by the Gifted Youth Network. But my research has opened other doors. I lay out the offer letters, not just Harvard, MIT, and Stanford, but a bespoke accelerated PhD program at the Max Planck Institute in Germany, working directly with a team on the verge of applying my theories to fusion energy. Another from CERN in Switzerland. A personal invitation from a consortium of Japanese universities to lead a new quantum computing initiative. Full funding, generous research stipends, international conference presentations already scheduled. I expect to have my doctorate by the time I'm 20, perhaps 19, I state calmly. The legal trap I'd been setting closes with satisfying precision. Miss Albright, armed with my detailed documentation, the photographs, the keylogger transcripts, Emma's confession, which I'd managed to record on my burner phone during her tirade, financial records, and psychological evaluations, files a comprehensive lawsuit, not just for fraud, but for a pattern of educational abuse, financial exploitation, and severe emotional distress. The goal? To formally strip my parents of all legal guardianship and any future claim on my intellectual property or earnings, and to secure substantial damages. The final power shift occurs during a court-mandated family mediation session. Dad, out on bail but looking like a broken man, tries to assert his parental rights. She's still my daughter. I know what's best for her. Mom, tearful and wavering, pleads, Maya, can't we just find a way to be a family again? Emma, sullen and resentful, mutters about me owing them for all the years they raised me. I let them finish, then Miss Albright clears her throat. Mr. and Mrs. Chen, Emma. Perhaps you're not aware. She slides a document across the table. As of 9 a.m. yesterday, following a hearing based on the extensive evidence of abuse and Maya's proven ability to manage her own affairs, the court has granted Maya full legal emancipation. The silence in the room is absolute. Dad's jaw drops. Mom covers her mouth, a strangled sob escaping. Emma just stares, her face a mask of disbelief. I've been living independently, in effect, for months, I say, my voice even. My academic career, my finances, my future, they are all mine, legally and unequivocally. You have no say, you have no control, you have no power over me anymore. Their shock is profound. They are looking at a ghost. The ghost of the girl they thought they controlled, now a fully autonomous adult in a 16-year-old's body, with a future they cannot touch, let alone sabotage. The game isn't just over. They've been checkmated from a board they didn't even know existed. The reckoning arrives in stages, each a carefully orchestrated dismissal. Dad's trial is swift. The evidence is overwhelming. My testimony? Delivered via video link to avoid seeing him. Clinical and irrefutable. He's found guilty on multiple counts of fraud, forgery, and misappropriation of funds. Facing a sentence of 5 to 7 years, his lawyer attempts a desperate plea for leniency, citing his client's remorse and his desire to make amends with me. He requests a meeting, I agree, but on my terms, in the sterile environment of the courthouse visitation room, with Miss Albright present. He shuffles in, diminished, his expensive suit now ill-fitting, his eyes hollow. Maya, he begins, his voice raspy. I was wrong. I see that now. I was just scared. Scared of you leaving, scared of you getting hurt by a world that exploits people. He tries for a watery smile. I was trying to protect you in my own stupid way. The manipulation is so transparent now, so pathetic. You weren't protecting me, Dad, I say, my voice devoid of inflection. You were protecting your own ego. You couldn't stand the thought of me being more than you. No, that's not true, he insists, leaning forward. I love you, Maya. If you could just tell the judge you've forgiven me, that this was all a terrible misunderstanding. We could start over. I'll support your education, whatever you want. The time for your support, or lack thereof, has passed, I state. The consequences you're facing are the direct result of choices you made, both in this life and the one you stole from me before. I owe you nothing. Not forgiveness, not a plea for leniency, nothing. I stand up. Goodbye, Dad. Miss Albright follows me out, leaving him slumped at the table. Emma's attempt comes via a tear-soaked letter, smuggled out by a guilt-ridden cousin. Her own college dreams are in ashes, her reputation ruined. Maya, please, it reads, you have to help us. Mom is a wreck. Dad's going to prison. Our family is being torn apart, and it's all because of your selfishness. Don't you care about anyone but yourself? If you don't recant your statements, if you don't fix this, I don't know what I'll do. Maybe it's better if I'm not around anymore. The implied suicide threat is as manipulative as her father's pleas. I feel a flicker of something, not pity, but a cold disgust. I write back a single sentence on a stark white card. Your choices, your consequences, Emma. Seek professional help. Miss Albright ensures it's delivered through official channels, along with a formal notification to her probation officer regarding the veiled threat. Mom is the last. She ambushes me outside Sarah's house one afternoon, her eyes red-rimmed, her face etched with a desperation that almost makes her look her age. Maya, please, she begs, clutching my arm. I didn't know. I didn't know the extent of it. Your father. He twisted things. I never would have let him hurt you like that if I'd known. You knew, Mom, I say, gently but firmly removing her hand. You knew about the letters he hid. You saw the report cards he doctored. You lied to my school counselors when they asked why I wasn't applying to better colleges. You chose to believe his narrative because it was easier, because it kept your comfortable life intact. I pull out my phone, bringing up a scanned copy of an email I'd found on the family computer. An email from her to her sister dated 3 years ago. John's worried about Maya getting big ideas about university, it read. He thinks it's best she stays close. Honestly, it would be a relief. She's so intense with her science stuff, it's a bit much sometimes. I show her the screen. Her face crumples. The last vestiges of her denial shatter. She has no words. You were complicit, Mom, I say, not unkindly, but with absolute finality. Perhaps not actively malicious like Dad or Emma, but your passivity was a weapon in their hands. And it cost me dearly in my first life. I turn to leave. I wish you peace, Mom, but my path is my own now. The final justice is delivered not with a bang, but with the quiet click of a plane ticket confirmation. I announce via a brief press release managed by Miss Albright's firm that I will be attending the International Congress of Theoretical Physicists in Geneva next month to present my paper. Following that, I will begin my accelerated PhD program at the Max Planck Institute. Dad is sentenced to 6 years in a federal penitentiary. Emma, after a period of academic probation and mandatory counseling, enrolls in a local community college. Her ambitions drastically curtailed. Mom sells the family home and moves into a small apartment, living on the proceeds and a part-time job at the library. I have no further contact with any of them. I walk away from the wreckage of their lives, not looking back. My gaze fixed firmly on the future they tried so hard to deny me. The power they wielded over me is gone, reduced to ash. 2 years. It feels like a lifetime and a blink. I stand on the stage of the Stockholm Concert Hall, the weight of the Nobel medal a comforting pressure against my chest. I'm 18, the youngest recipient in history. My research into sustainable quantum energy, building on the foundations of Dr. Evelyn Reed's paper, has already revolutionized the field. As the King of Sweden places the diploma in my hand, I think briefly of that cramped teenage bedroom, of the metallic taste of despair. This was always meant to be my timeline, this triumph. My acceptance speech is broadcast live around the world. I don't mention my biological family. There's no spite left, no burning need for them to witness this. My words are for the future, for the millions whose lives my work might change. Science, I say, my voice clear and steady, is the ultimate act of rebellion against the limitations of our circumstances. It is the relentless pursuit of truth, even when that truth is inconvenient, even when it is suppressed. May we all find the courage to pursue our own truths, to illuminate the darkness with the light of discovery. 6 months later, I'm 19, and it's another graduation, this time a PhD. The celebration isn't in a grand hall, but in the sun-dappled backyard of Dr. Finch's rambling Victorian home. My chosen family surrounds me. Alistair, his eyes twinkling with pride. Dr. Lena Hansen from Max Planck, who flew in just for this. My research team, a boisterous group of brilliant young minds from around the globe. Even Sarah, my steadfast high school friend, now a bewildered but fiercely proud English literature major. We're having a barbecue. Hamburgers and hot dogs sizzle on the grill. Laughter spills across the lawn. The irony isn't lost on me. A graduation barbecue, but this one is mine, truly mine, filled with genuine joy and the people who see me. The real me, the scientist, the survivor, the woman who refused to be erased. Occasionally, flickers from the past reach me. A news clipping forwarded by Miss Albright. Dad released early for good behavior, working a minimum wage job at a hardware store, looking tired and gray. An alumni newsletter mentioning Emma Chen struggling through her community college classes, now working part-time at a department store. A brief, sad note from Mom's sister saying Mom lives alone, quiet and withdrawn. I feel nothing more than a distant clinical recognition. They made their choices. They live with the consequences. Their paths are no longer intertwined with mine. My journey wasn't just from a broken girl who died at 24 to a Nobel laureate at 18. It was from victim to architect. My rebirth wasn't solely about revenge, though the initial taste of justice had been a necessary catharsis. It was about proving a fundamental truth. Brilliance, true potential, cannot be indefinitely contained by small minds by those who fear what they cannot understand or control. It will find a way. It will erupt. The future unfolds in the quiet hum of my research lab at the Institute. Equations cover whiteboards like intricate constellations, mapping pathways to harness zero-point energy, to conceptualize interstellar travel. I touch the Nobel medal, now hanging on a simple chain around my neck, nestled beneath my lab coat. It's no longer a symbol of a past life's stolen glory, nor a weapon of vengeance. It's a key. A reminder that some destinies, some sparks of genius, are too powerful, too vital to humanity to be denied. Not even twice. The universe, it seems, has a way of balancing its books. And I am finally, peacefully, part of that equation.